Macy, thank you so much for the wedding present. I just got it in the mail. No problem at all. You happened to marry my favorite brother, so I had to give you something. Stephen is also very happy to have gotten something from you. I suppose he has always been wanting a coffee maker himself, so that was very sweet of you to get him one. He always tells me about how well you know him, and that right there was a perfect example of what he was saying. I'm his little sister, so of course I'm going to know him well. Now, I'd like to ask, have you read that letter yet that I sent to you? I made sure to put it in the same box as your gift, so you should have it, right? Yeah, I have it. It's a list from you of all the things that Stephen likes and dislikes. You even write down in here the temperature he likes his baths at and the amount of chili he loves eating. This is really amazing, thank you. Young wives would usually never need something like that as a guide to their husband. But you, Jenna, you're a lot older, like my aunt even. So I thought it would be really nice of me to give that list to you so that you can take good care of him. Did you say I'm like your aunt? I really have always been wondering why my brother, of all people, chose to marry an older woman like you. Honestly, I probably won't ever know the answer to that. I really think that someone like him should have ended up with a younger, more pretty girl than you. Yet, here we are. You say that I'm an older woman, but he and I are the same age, right? I guess I am 1 month older than him, but that's nothing, really. But that's still 1 month older than he is. I'm sure you don't want to see it that way, but you are older than him, making you an old woman. I suppose so. Does this mean you're not a big fan of wives that are older than their husbands? Do you hate the idea that an older woman can marry a younger man? Of course I hate the idea of it. I have no reason to let any man, especially my brother, marry a woman who is older. What? I have checked in with my brother so many times now to see if he wanted to get married or not yet. And I tried so many times to get him to make that jump to becoming a married man. Really? But when it comes to my brother, he is a bit of a stubborn jerk. So, in the end, I said as long as he was getting married, I didn't care who it was to. So you really wanted him to get married, but only to a younger woman? Well, you both are legally married now, so there's nothing I can really do anymore. But just know that I have no reason to like you, Jenna, all right? And if there is ever a time where I feel that you aren't enough for Stephen, then I'm going to have you guys divorced immediately. What? You'll divorce us? So if you don't want me doing that to you, then I suggest you start paying attention to that list of likes and dislikes and do everything he asks of you. I want my brother's wife to be perfect for him, and that means that she has to take care of his every need perfectly. That's why I spent 3 days making that list up for you, all right? So don't let it go to waste. Well, I'm sure that's the case. There's close to 30 pages here. If I find out that you've gone and ignored my list for you, then I'll have you both divorced on the spot. You're the one that chose to become the wife of my brother, and if you want to stay in that position, you'll need to be perfect. Every single day of his life has to be the best, and that means you will give everything you've got and more to make that happen. Hey, Jenna, what the hell have you been making my brother do? In that list I gave you, it says that he does not like to cook. In that list I gave you, it says that he does not like to cook. Yet since you both got married, you've been having him cook every day? Stephen told me that since he now has a wife, he wanted to start working on improving his ability to cook. He wants for the both of us to be able to cook well, not just me. I'm sure he doesn't like to do it all the time, but he's the one that said he wanted to cook, so I've been letting him. No way. I put so much effort into writing that list, those instructions for you. And in there it says that only you should be the one cooking. It says in there that he hates to cook, so never make him pick up a pan and spatula. Yet you've been ignoring that for the past month now? I'm not really ignoring it though. Stephen told me that he wants to cook, so I'm letting him cook. That's it. None of this means that I'm just ignoring all that you wrote down for me in that list of yours. Shut up! I have no reason to be listening to some old witch tell me her excuses. Did you just call me an old witch? Do you get it now? I don't want you ever letting my brother cook in that house again. You follow my instructions to you to every letter. If you don't, I will seriously have you both get divorced. I will not let some old witch turn my brother into her slave.
Jenna, I wanted to talk about this coming weekend. Macy is asking if it would be okay to come here and stay the night. What do you think?
What? She wants to come over and stay at our place?
Oh, she told me she has an in-person interview in town this week, so she'll already be near us. Since it's a couple hours from home for her, she'd like to stay the night here. And since it's been a while for us, I'd like to meet her as well.
Now that you mention it, Macy is almost out of college now, right?
This month you're gonna be out the house for work quite a lot, right? But just 'cause you'll be gone most days, I didn't want to have her over without getting her permission as well. So that's why I'm kind of asking you now, what do you think about her coming over?
Well, if that's what you both want, then go ahead. And it does cost money to have to stay somewhere else, so she can save a little bit of money by being at our place.
Oh? Aren't you a little bit against it, though? It's not just that she's my little sister, but to you, she's still a little distant. I can totally understand you being a little bit nervous about having her over, so you can say no. I'll have her stay at a hotel.
It's not that I'm totally against it, but you're right about me being a little nervous. Just with her, you know that her and I aren't that close, like in terms of being nice to one another.
What? I didn't know that.
She really doesn't like me at all. She's already told me plenty of times before that she doesn't like me being the wife of her favorite brother.
Right. I think I know what you're on about. She has always been a bit too attached to me.
Well, I wouldn't say that she's just a bit attached. Anyway, if she wants to come and stay at the house, she can. I'll be out of the house then, so I won't have to see her any. Just make sure to lock the door to my office, and that will make me feel a lot better.
Good idea. You happen to have a lot of important documents in that room, so I wouldn't want her going in there snooping around. While you're gone, I'll do my best to talk you up around her, to maybe get her to accept you a bit more. I think that she just has the wrong idea of you, is all. She's able to learn more about the person you are and why I'm attracted to you, then I think she'll come around to you.
Thank you, Stephen. Well, I'm going to get back to work now, all right? Tell Macy I said hi. You are no longer allowed to come back here. When you get back from that business trip of yours, you are going to have to go someplace else. You are no longer my brother's wife. What? What do you mean I'm no longer his wife? I have no clue what you're talking about right now. You old witches really are the worst when it comes to understanding men. I handed in your guys' divorce papers because you've not been a good enough wife for him. What? So that means starting today, you are no longer his wife. And that also means that you're a stranger to us now. So don't come around Stephen's house again. Wait a second. You handed in our divorce papers? What? You're joking, right? Why would I ever joke about something as serious as your divorce? I just got back from the courthouse a second ago. What? Why would you do something like that? I get that you don't really think of me as the most amazing person, but handing in your brothers and my divorce papers without talking to us about your problems first? I know for a fact that you have not been following that list I sent for you word for word. When talking with my brother about you, he told me he's still doing the cooking a lot of the time. And what's worse than that is that recently you've been having him do some of the cleaning in the house as well. I wrote down specifically that only the wife is to do all the chores and never the husband. Stephen has been saying that he wanted to cook, so I let him. And when it came to the cleaning, he's been doing it without ever telling me. He told me that after getting into cooking, he's also wanted to learn about cleaning. I think this was all a great chance for him, so I've let him go at it. I've not been forcing him in any way to do all of that, and I'm still doing my fair share as well. Shut up! No matter what the situation is, I do not want my brother doing any chores. When he was back at my parents' house, he always hated cooking and cleaning. Now he doesn't even look like my brother anymore, doing all these things that you're supposed to be doing. Why are you getting so upset that he wants to do chores now? You know why. I don't want my brother becoming a better person for any other woman besides myself. So to protect my brother from you, I'm going to have him call you his ex-wife from now on. Don't tell me that you came to our house to stay because of a lie. You're in town right now for a job interview, correct? You didn't just come all the way out here to hand in those divorce papers, right? And you didn't choose the one weekend I'd be gone to come, right? I wasn't lying about being in town for the interview. I'm going to start working close to where Steven's living. I've been wanting to for a long time now and finally found a good company in town that was hiring. Is that right? No, I haven't officially been offered the job yet, but I know I'm getting it. Today was the first day of me interviewing, and it's going to be my last. Because that job is mine, and I know it. I'm going to be working in IT at a company that's relatively young and has a lot of good words surrounding it. I think this is going to be the perfect company for me. A company near our house that's been hiring people to work in IT? Is this Green Plus? I'm surprised you knew that. I suppose some old people like you do know a thing or two about the current world. Well, this company is going to be huge for me and will bring me lots of money. I cannot believe it. Could this actually be happening right now? And what makes this all the more merry for me is that I've gotten you away from my brother. I think once spring comes to an end, I'm going to move in with him and start working full-time here. I see. So you had us get a divorce and plan to take my place in the house? That's why you don't want me coming back now. You'll be able to live with your favorite brother once again. And all it required was for you to do something so out of this world. This wouldn't have had to happen had you just obeyed what I had written down for you. Then I would have refrained from divorcing you both. But this is what you deserve for thinking you could be my brother's wife. What? The old witch will never be coming back to us again. You are nothing more than a stranger to us now. You were never going to make it as his wife anyway. Well, you can kiss that job of yours goodbye then. Huh? Since you seem to think getting a divorce for two people you don't find match well is all right, then I'm sure you're fine with me doing the same to you, right? And I don't believe that you're a good match for my company. So at this moment in time, you are no longer going to be given that position in IT. Wait a second here. What do you mean, your company? And you think you can take away the job I'm getting? You have no reason to be able to do that to me. You don't think so? I guess I don't have a clue what I'm doing then, since I'm some old witch, right? Perhaps even though I happen to have many more years of experience than you think because you're younger, you know better? What did you say? The company that seemed to be interested in hiring you, Green Plus, well, that happens to be the company I own. So in other words, I'm the CEO of it, and my word is law. So I can make sure you never come into my company, no problem. Huh? You're telling me that the company wanting to hire me is your company? Don't say it like that. You have no idea who we were thinking of hiring here yet, all right? Did we ever call you back saying you got the job? No. Today was the first day of the interview process, and that's it. We still have a lot of things to look through before we actually make a call on who we want. You say that, but I know the interviewer was very impressed by me and wants me to work there. And I was already told that if asked to interview, that pretty much means I've already gotten the job. That's what was written online. There is no way the company doesn't want me and hasn't already put me on the payroll. You are right that getting to an actual interview does mean that the company is more interested in hiring you. But that doesn't mean you have the job in the bag yet. Not at all. You will get a call from us saying whether we want you or not, and you haven't gotten that call yet. Now, to be honest, I'm actually glad I get to do this to you because there was only one other person interviewing and it was hard to make a choice between one of you during the first interview. But now you've made that choice very easy for us. No way! I don't believe a thing you're saying about me. You are actually a CEO? And the CEO of Green Plus? There's no way that could be true. No way. And I was just as surprised as you are right now when you said you had interviewed at my company. But no matter how much you don't want to believe it, this is all the truth. Actually, when you went in to have your interview, the CEO wasn't in the office, right? Yeah, I was told that she's on a business trip right now. Do you remember who else is on a business trip right now? That's me. I never really like to talk about how I'm the CEO of a company because you'll start to attract all kinds of unwanted people. And when I first introduced myself to you, I only stated that I work for an IT company. So you never knew about my position in Green Plus, or that I even work there. But now you do, and it all makes sense because Green Plus is in fact an IT company. So go ahead and keep trying to deny the truth, but that won't save you anything in the end. but that's a lie! To be honest, I never really cared about you being so in love with your brother. But the fact that you just told me you had us divorced is something else completely. I will not have someone like you in my company. Who knows what other terrible things, unthinkable things you'd do in the office? And I'd be allowing all that if I hired you, and I'd have to pay you? No thank you. So that's why in the next couple days I'm going to let HR know that you are no longer being interviewed. Now, with that being said, you have failed your job interview and can go back home to your mom and dad.
Jenna, I heard what happened from Macy. That idiot went and handed in divorce papers for us without saying a thing.
That's what it looks like. I'm sorry, but both you and I are no longer husband and wife.
Well, you don't have to get too worked up over it. They actually went to the courthouse the moment she told me and asked about it. They told me they hadn't processed the paperwork yet. Actually, they couldn't because they didn't have any way to verify if the papers were really ours, and so they put them on hold.
Really? Is that right?
They explained to me everything about the divorce process, and I went and told them to throw all the paperwork away. So, we are not divorced. When you're done with your business trip, you can come back home and there won't be any problems.
Thank you so much for doing that, Stephen. But even if we aren't divorced, we still have the problem of your sister. To think she'd actually do something as insane as that.
I'm so sorry about her. Even I'm speechless that my own little sister could do something as stupid as that.
That's right. To you, she's always tried to be this sweet little girl that you'd never be able to hate.
Actually, before having that divorce paperwork thrown out, I asked them to let me have a look at it. When looking at it, I could tell whose handwriting that was, so there's no denying that Macy was the one who filled it out and handed it in. I don't want to believe it, but I have to. I feel just so awful inside right now. Like, what should I do about this?
Has your sister always been that crazy about you? I think it's a great thing for siblings to be close and love one another, but the way she is about you is not healthy.
To be honest, that girl has no friends. Macy's always had trouble bonding with people. And since I was always around her ever since she was born, I guess she just assumed I was her only friend, and that was good enough for her. Over time, she completely gave up on finding any friends and told me I was the only friend she ever wanted to have.
Now that you mention it, I never hear about any stories of her with any friends.
I'm not sure if it's just natural for her or she's been purposely trying to keep other people away from her. But she really says the most rude things to other people her age, making them run away from her the moment they have a chance. So even on those off chances where she would make a friend, it never lasted long. She's been on her own ever since she was a baby.
Really?
And now she doesn't want friends at all. Not even a boyfriend. She only wants her family. And that means just my mom, my dad, and me. But I never thought her feelings for me would become this out of control. I'm going to call my family right now. Have them come get her. So by the time you're on your way back home, she won't be here anymore.
Thank you, Stephen. I've actually been getting all the work I need to taken care of pretty quickly, so I'll be coming home the day after tomorrow.
Well then, I'll do my best to make you a very delicious dinner for when you get home. And I think I'll come and get you from the airport, if that's alright. Now until then, good luck with the remainder of your work.
Please let me join your company. If I'm not able to join your company, there will be no other jobs for me near my brother as they're all finished hiring. What's going on, Macy? Even if you can't get a job in my company, there are plenty of places to work in town. Well, actually, the problem is more with my university. If I can't get a job in your company, I won't graduate. But you have the credits too, right? No, I don't. I didn't pass everything. So I was hoping I'd get the job before the graduation and then would be able to drop out of school and still have a job lined up. But if you're not going to hire me, then I'm going to have to take another semester. Wait, really? The only reason I failed one of my tests is because I ended up getting really sick. And so during my time out of class, I totally forgot about the test and never asked my professor to schedule a different day for me. But the only reason I forgot to do anything about it is because I don't really have any friends here to remind me of that kind of stuff. Ah. I tried talking to the professor about it, but he told me that it was already too late and that he would have to give me a 0 on it. I totally forgot to ask the professor earlier, and now I'm going to pay for it. I never thought you not having any friends would come around to bite you in the butt like that. I tried to do everything to get that professor to raise my score, but he would never listen to me. I even told him that I had a job lined up and that if he didn't give me the score, it wouldn't really matter, but it would help me out a lot. But after saying that to him, he never responded to me again, and I don't have any more classes with him. Now I'm missing a credit that I need to graduate, and I can't find my professor to try talking to him again. I see, and that's why you want me to give you a job in my company now? It's already close to graduation now. I need that job, or else I won't meet the qualifications to work for you. So please, Jenna, give me that position, or any for that matter. Please let me work there. I want you to tell HR to take me back now. I'm sorry, but I can't do that for you. I made sure you were never hired because I don't want you in my company. And with a reason like that for wanting me to hire you, no way. This is all your own dang fault, so good luck. What do you mean it's all my fault? This is going to cost your cute sister-in-law her future. Oh? Who is this cute little sister-in-law you're talking about? I don't know anybody like that. Huh? Macy, you're not cute to me, and I barely think of you as my sister-in-law. I mean, you were the one that tried getting me divorced from your brother all because you don't like me, right? I don't want to help anyone that thinks doing something as crazy as you did was okay. But the divorce never went through in the end, right? So you don't have to be so upset about that now. Can't you just help me out this once? No, thank you. Try again and see if you can convince another company around here to hire you. And if you can't do that, then you'll have to settle with another semester at college. But I don't want to do another semester. I don't have any friends here and it's too much work. And I sure as hell won't be making any friends now with everyone knowing I had to retake a class. No. Well, then drop out of there. No way! I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. Are you a 5-year-old? I hope not. You have too many things you are responsible for now, whether you like it or not. So deal with your problems yourself, all right? I am not going to hire you, so make another plan to follow. After that, Macy wasn't able to find another company she liked to hire her and had to do another semester at college. But that wasn't it for her, as both her parents told her that they had enough of her after she tried to divorce me from her brother, and she only made it worse by having to take another semester. In this way, after their talk had ended, she was able to see just how disappointed her mom and dad were in her. And that led to them telling her to pay that final semester of college herself. For Macy, this was a huge blow to her mental health, and it would be impossible for her to get a part-time job with the way she thought about herself. She was able to find one after some time, but it's caused her to come home every day to her parents crying for them to help her. But even after getting into her final semester, she wasn't herself anymore and couldn't even focus in class enough to do well. Which led her dad to ask her if it was really worth it anymore to have her in their home, saying that she didn't seem to be taking life seriously anymore. After that, Macy tried going to her brother Stephen for some help. But Stephen was no longer happy with her and ignored all her calls and texts. Once Macy had learned that not even her favorite brother wanted to help her, the bright and youthful eyes that she once had faded completely.
Now, would you stop doing this already, Caroline? We are not your free daycare over here. My wife has been having to work all day long taking care of that kid, and she has no time to do anything besides that.
What?
All the time you're having my Jolene take him. I get that it's hard to be a parent at times, but come on. You can't just keep handing us your boy every time you don't have the time or patience for him. And that appears to be every freaking day now. Even the weekends. Do you not have even the slightest bit of common sense as a parent? If only Mum and Dad were still around, and then I could have them chew you out for this.
Oh, wait a second, Gavin. What are you going on about right now? I never left my kid with Jolene before in my life.
What? Oh, you have no right to be lying with that innocent attitude. You feel that you can just keep lying to me about this and have your kids stay over at our place all the time. Are you trying to tell me you don't care how much trouble you're causing your little brother and his wife now? We just got married, alright?
What?
We've only been married for 6 months over here. We were looking forward to married life and everything, but now we have to keep taking care of this little baby or toddler or whatever you call it for you. Jolene has been having a lot of trouble with it as well, so she's not able to get anything else done in the house now. Because of you, Caroline, my entire house has turned into a dump because we don't have the time to clean anything up. There are trash bags everywhere filled with nothing but diapers and soiled clothing lying around.
What? That's how bad things have become over there?
And you know whose fault all this is. Having this baby over at our house all the time takes away from our ability to clean anything. And it's the same thing for cooking, so the only thing I've been able to eat the past couple of months has been frozen TV dinners. If we don't get a break to take all this trash out, it's only going to get worse here and soon we'll be an actual dump. I did not get married to Jolene in order to have her be the one to take care of your kid.
Hey, Gavin. Can you please have a word with Jolene again about this? We have not been having her take care of our kid, all right? I understand that we weren't able to find a kindergarten this year, but we have made sure that there's daycare and all that while we're at work. Things have been like this since spring, all right? I promise you that whoever your wife is taking care of right now is not our child.
And I told you to cut the lying already. Are you done yet? If you bring that kid over here again and have my wife take them, then I'm not going to be as forgiving. Just because she's your sister-in-law doesn't mean you get to treat her like this.
Jolene, it's been a while since we last talked. I have something I'd like to ask you right now, actually. I just got a random text from Gavin saying not to have you take my child anymore there, but, what's this all about? What? Gavin went ahead and already started texting you? I was telling him not to drag you into this so many times. Can you please explain to me what's going on here? My husband and I have not once given you our child to take care of before, right? So whose child have you been taking care of so much lately? What? I'm sorry for causing you any trouble. Actually, ever since this spring, I've been taking care of my friend's kid. So ever since spring, you've had to take care of their kid every day? Yes. They weren't able to get their kid into a place to go for kindergarten, so they've had trouble handling things in their home with the kid. So as a way of supporting her and her husband, I've been taking care of their kid every day. That's very kind of you, but because of that, you've started to cause a lot of problems for your own marriage and household, right? From what Gavin has told me, the inside of the house is full of garbage now, and neither of you have been able to cook any. He told me there's just no time for you to manage the chores. That's just because I'm not quite used to taking care of a kid yet. But once I've gotten used to things, then I'm sure I can start to take care of things in the house as well. But from what Gavin told me, he has no clue why any of this is going on besides blaming it all on me. Why haven't you explained the situation to him yet so that he has a better understanding of it? Right now, he's been telling me that you've told him the kid is mine and that I've been the one leaving my kid there for you to take care of. And that's because there's just a lot of things to go with the story. Can you please just let me use you for a bit right now? What? If I have Gavin believing that it's your kid that I'm taking on all the time, then he won't be as upset with me over any of it. So in order to kind of hide the real situation from him, I'm using your name. Please don't get all upset with me over something as small as that. Excuse me, Jolene? Did I ever say I was upset with you? First of all, why do you have to hide the truth from Gavin? I don't understand why you can't just tell him you're helping a friend right now. If you keep labeling that kid as mine all the time, it's only going to make my brothers and my relationship worse. Just today was going off on me about that kid you're taking care of for your friend. And what do you want me to do about that? You don't have to understand why I'm hiding all of this from him anyway. Now I need to go. I have the kid over here again, so I'm busy. Wait, Jolene, so far we've gotten nowhere. We don't have to get anywhere, so just be quiet. And from now on, don't say anything useless to Gavin about any of this. You keep the fact that this is my friend's kid a secret from him.
You've really done it now by bringing your dang kid over here again. Did I not just yell at you about all of this yesterday? Honestly, I respect the nerve you have for doing something like this again.
Huh?
I never thought my own sister was the kind of woman who never cared about the trouble she causes others. You used to always be so nice to me and would never ever do anything to cause me any trouble, yet now. Or could this be a new way of picking on my wife? Do you really not like my wife that much that you'd force her to yet again take care of your crying kid?
I'm not picking on your wife, though. I have no reason to. I haven't even really had a chance to get to know her yet, so in all honesty, I can't judge her at all yet. And just like the other times, I have not taken my child over to your house today. Before you start blaming me again for that, why don't you have a word with your wife about it and really dig into her story a little? Ask her whose kid that really is, so go ahead and talk with her about all of this right now, please.
Huh? Whose kid that really is? That's your kid. Stop talking nonsense right now and hurry on over here and take it back. I was able to get the afternoon off work today and I was planning to take Jolene out on a date. But when I got home, that brat was bawling its eyes out.
And I have no idea what that's all about, right?
You can't just say that about your own kid. You've been leaving your kid over at my house every day for so many months now, alright? Was it that hard for you to give up your job after having the baby so that you can take care of it yourself? If you're required to work that badly, then maybe you shouldn't have had a kid in the first place, you moneyless lowlives.
Excuse me? Who did you just call poor and a lowlife?
I'm calling you and your husband that, you two low-life losers. That's why I was warning you before about this. I told you that marrying a factory worker like him would only lead to a future of nothing but hardships. Yet you never listened to a word I said, and still married that dirty and moneyless factory worker anyway. And then you two idiots made a baby together. Now don't have any money to support it with, right?
You! Stop calling us lowlifes right now, Gavin! And you stop talking crap about my husband and his job right now. I've told you for a long time now to stop talking poorly about us, all right?
What? I'm not making fun of his job or anything. I'm just saying that he works a job where he has to get covered in filth all the time, sweating and smelling like a pig, just to come home with only some pocket change.
What did you say?
He's really such a shameful husband, isn't he? He's that old now, yet all he can do is work in a dirty factory. I'm sure he barely has any money in his savings, so compared to someone like myself, working for a major office here in town, he's nothing. And that's why you have to work as well in the relationship, because he doesn't bring in any meaningful amount of money. He really is such an embarrassment to men.
I'm not gonna listen to this anymore, you dickhead. Do you ever talk about my husband like that when you're the one being played again?
Hey. I'm the one that shouldn't have to listen to you, you cunt. Look, right now, Jolene and I are victims that have been wrapped into my low-life sister and her husband's problems now. Perhaps it was all a lie about you never being able to find a kindergarten for the brat. You both just can't afford to send your kid there right now, and that's why you have to rely on Jolene and I.
Huh?
I mean, your husband is at a factory, right? If he was working an office job like myself right now, he'd have the money to pay for your brat to go to kindergarten, right? But you two moneyless losers don't even have the money for that.
Not only have you not been listening to anything I tell you, but now you're just going to start assuming we're people like that. I can't hold my tongue anymore.
That's how I'm feeling right now. If you can't even pay for a babysitter to take care of your little brat, then you shouldn't be having kids at all. This will only mean that in the future your kid's going to live a very terrible life with you both. I feel so bad for the little runt. Having to be raised in the slums with you two means he'll never amount to anything either in life.
Huh?
Alright? This is my last time telling you to take that brat home. It's totally screwed up of you having your sister-in-law and I take care of that kid for so dang long now. We're not going to be taking care of some poor couple's little brat any longer.
Are you aware that my child is a girl?
What?
So would you go freaking talk to your stupid wife about this already instead of belittling and blaming your sister and her husband? Right now, my husband and I have been doing all we can to take care of our cute little girl. We would never in our entire lives have someone like you who thinks it's okay to talk down to others like that. Take care of our very important little girl.
Wait a second. What? Your kid is a girl, is that so?
So you don't even remember the gender of your older sister's kid? You must be so exhausted from having to work as a paper pusher in that office all the time and have forgotten a lot of things. Well, thank God you were able to get the whole afternoon off today because of all that hard work, right? Then go and have yourself a well-deserved nap, and once you wake up, go and talk to your disgraceful wife. You asked that woman you happen to love so much where the hell that kid came from and whose it is.
So you're telling me that brat isn't yours after all?
That's what I've been saying this whole time, you dickhead. Now you two figure out that problem yourselves.
Caroline, things are not good here. That brat was never yours to begin with.
Well, it's about time someone caught up with everyone else in the class. So your loving wife Jolene has finally spilled the truth out for you, and now you're aware that the kid is her friend's?
Huh? Her friend's kid? So that's the lie she was giving you before?
Wait, that was a lie?
This isn't her friend's kid, Caroline. That kid she's been taking care of every day has been hers. She was the one that gave birth to it.
Huh? What do you mean she gave birth to it? Was she ever married before you?
No, she wasn't. She couldn't have been. Her and I only got married a little while back, and she said I'm her first. But what I've been told is that she had a baby in secret before she married me. Apparently that kid she's been taking in every day is the kid she had with her ex-boyfriend.
So that's her and her ex's kid?
Back when she had been engaged to me, something happened between her and him. Because of that, she became pregnant. By the time she realised she was pregnant, though, it was already too late for her to do anything about it. So her only choice was to hide all that from me and have the baby in secret.
You're kidding me.
Now that I really think about it, things were a bit weird before our wedding. Jolene told me that she was busy dieting and getting things done for the wedding, so we couldn't really meet often. So all of that was to cover up her being pregnant, and she did that all the way until she had her baby.
So that's really the baby she had with her ex. I know it sucks that she was cheating on you with your ex before you guys got married, but there's always a chance that that's your kid.
There's no way that's mine. I mean, that kid she has with her right now has brown hair and brown eyes.
What?
When I asked her about her ex, she told me he was from Mexico. She showed me a picture of him as well, and that kid looks just like him. Even their faces are perfectly alike.
No way.
Right after having the baby, her ex ended up forcing her to take the baby. But she kept begging him to take it since she was just about to get married and wouldn't have the ability to take care of the kid. He took the baby for a little bit, but soon after he started to bring it to our house all the time, telling her there was no way he could raise it on his own. That's why she's been having to take care of the kid during the day, while she has her ex take the kid home with him at night.
And to keep that all under wraps, she told me it was just her friend's baby. And to you, she kept saying it was your older sister's baby.
Caroline, what should I be doing here? Right now, Jolene is crying and begging me not to divorce her, and she wants us to take the kid for good. She said there is no reason to give her baby back to that ex of hers anymore. She wants the two of us to raise it.
Isn't that great, though? You happen to work for a major office, like you said, so you wouldn't be troubled by having to pay for one kid. It's just one little boy, right?
What are you talking about? I have no relation to that kid at all. And while engaged to me, Jolene was going back to have sex with her ex. You really think I can take care of that kid when it has her ex's DNA in it?
Then why not get a divorce? If you don't want the kid, that's your only other option.
Don't say something like that so easily. We only just got married half a year ago. I've gotten a lot of gifts and money from all of my friends and co-workers. If I divorce her now, and over a reason like that, I'm going to be embarrassed for myself forever.
Why is all that pride getting in your way right now? Well, it has nothing to do with me. So because of that, you can leave me out of your mess and settle it between the two of you. I'm going to get back to work.
Hey, hold on a second. Your little brother is in a lot of trouble right now. This is not the time for you to be getting back to work.
I really do feel bad for you, but to be honest, I don't want to care about your situation anymore.
What?
I'm tired of having to be involved in something I have nothing to do with. I tried so many times already to tell you that the kid was not mine, yet you never even bothered to listen to me. And what really soured things between you and I today is the fact that you started talking poorly about my husband and his job. Yet you have not once apologized for any of that yet, and that's why I really don't care about you anymore.
Yeah, that was...
Well, right now I don't want to hear your apologies. I'm not in the mood to forgive you. I understand completely now how my little brother thinks about his older sister and her husband. Now I need to get back to work here in order to take care of my moneyless, dirty factory worker husband. Please, Caroline, do you think you could please take care of my kid and keep him over at your house for a little while? What? If you can do that for me, you'll be able to raise both a boy and a girl. They happen to be close in the same age, so it'll be like raising twins. All right? So you'll take him, right? Wait. No way in hell. Who the hell wants your kid? Either you get my brother to calm down and take care of him with you, or you guys get that divorce and you handle him yourself. I don't like either of those options, and that's why I'm asking you to help. Please allow me to get your help with this as well. Excuse me? I I do not want a divorce from Gavin. He works for a large company that makes such decent money. And he's allowed me to be his housewife even. You think that I'd want to be tossed out by a man like that? I was assuming that you were into your ex more than you were into Gavin. So why not go back to him? My ex is a bastard. He never actually bothers to get himself a real job and instead just bums around for money. And whenever I'm around him, he's always asking me for money. That's why I chose Gavin and got married to him. Then why were you cheating on Gavin with your ex? Had you been faithful to your fiancé at the time, then you never would have ended up with that kid. And that would mean you wouldn't have had to worry about a divorce from Gavin right now. I had no choice at the time, all right? His face is way too good for me to pass up. What a freaking joke. I didn't think a few more times sleeping with him would end up getting me pregnant. Maybe one time he did me raw and that's what got me pregnant? And once I had the baby, it didn't look anything like Gavin, so I told my ex to take it since it was his fault. But out of nowhere, after getting married, my ex came back telling me to take care of the kid as well for him. What the hell was he thinking? I'm kind of in shock right now, learning just how much of a horrible person you really are. By the way, the one who really should be to blame for this is all you, Caroline. You didn't do anything for me. I asked you not to say anything to Gavin about this, but you told him anyway. It's because of that he figured all of this stuff out about me and the kid and is wanting a divorce now. Hold it right there. You're gonna blame me for all of that now? I get that it might be to blame for a small portion of this, but you need to take most of the blame here. Your cute little sister-in-law was having a stressful time and just needed you to help her, and so all you had to do was freaking help my butt out. You were no help to me and couldn't even keep that secret away from Gavin for me. It's all because of you that Gavin and I might have to get a divorce. Hey! So you take responsibility for all of this and take the dang kid. If you take this dang brat off our hands right now, then everything will go back to normal for me. As long as this brat is out of the house, then Gavin will rethink wanting to have a divorce and I'll be okay. Shut the hell up, you freaking whore! Jolene, you cut it all with all the BS right now! Shut up! I don't care what you think, so just take this freaking kid away. I'll give you whatever money you need for it, of course. I have a lot that I saved up from when I was single, so I can give you around $100,000 to take this brat away. You won't complain about that now, will you? $100,000? I knew something like money would get you to bite. Your husband being a low-life factory worker must be really tough on you, right? What? So there you go. The deal has been made. He's my cute little son, so make sure to take very good care of him for me. I'll be giving you the $100,000 as well now, so if anything, you should be thanking me for this. To a couple moneyless cave dwellers like you, all this money is a huge deal, right? Consider yourselves very lucky. I'm sure that's a lot of money to you, but to me, that's chump change. Huh? In other words, I'm not taking some measly $100,000 in your son. Actually, no matter how much you try to bribe me, I'm not taking him. What do you mean, measly $100,000? Chump change? This is more than your stupid husband can make in 2 years, right? You're the freaking moneyless losers here, so stop trying to make yourselves look good by saying no to this money. We make enough money in a year where we could drop $500,000 right now and not worry about it. Oh, what? I'm sorry, but those dirty factory workers you call poor make a lot of money. But just because they get a little dirty, everyone wants to make fun of them. My husband happens to be a very hard worker and will break a sweat no matter if it's 100 degrees in the factory or 0. Because of all of his hard work so far, we have around $12 million in our savings. Just last year, he made around $750,000 in that factory. It's far more than just some lowlife then, right? $750,000 just last year? What? He makes that kind of money in a single year? Well, he happens to work in a factory that manufactures elements for the military, and anytime they finish their contract ahead of schedule, they get some massive bonuses from the government. So for all of his and his colleagues' hard work, they make bank. And I mean bank. What? And did I forget to mention he runs his own department in that factory? That's another thing that goes into the money he's making. Also, you have to remember that I'm working as well now. This year, I was able to make around $400,000 with bonuses included. You're kidding! The two of you are making that much money every year? We are. So giving us $100,000 to take your son off of you? I don't think so. My husband and I don't need another child right now, or that little bit of cash you have to offer. Oh, wait a minute. What the hell is going on here? I mean, Gavin has always been making fun of you and your husband this whole time I've been together with him. calling you both lowlifes and calling you both poor. That's why I thought by giving you this $100,000, you guys would be able to take the kid. Well, I'm sorry to say we won't be taking your kid. So now that you're aware of my husband's and my current situation, you can go ahead and figure out your problems with Gavin. Of course, this also means you both need to stop coming to me with your problems. No way. What should I do? This was the only plan I had in mind. I'm no longer able to get in touch with my ex, so you're the only person I can ask to help. What? Is that so? Well, I don't really care. Stop getting me involved in your guys' problems, please. Do you understand? It's time you become a good little wife and took responsibility for the problems you've made. After taking some time to finally talk about what they were going to do, both Jolene and my brother decided on getting a divorce. Having just had to divorce his wife, who he'd only been with for half a year, after learning his wife had been cheating on him, as well as learning about how his sister and her husband both made way more than himself, Gavin went into complete shock. This toppled his enormous pride that was the size of Mount Everest and left him a husk of his former self. One could say that the life he lives now is much like that of a living dead man, and I'm sure that's the right term for him. When it came to how things have gone for Jolene, she took her son and went back to her parents' house. However, due to the reason she gave for the divorce and the fact that she showed up on their doorstep with a baby they'd never seen before, both her parents freaked out on her. This then led to both her parents going out and searching for her failure of an ex-boyfriend, and when they found him, they forced him to marry their daughter so that they could both take care of the responsibility. As of now, those newlyweds are living at Jolene's parents' home, where two of them are both working part-time jobs in order to save up enough to move out. And while they do that, her parents take care of their grandkid. When that day comes that they do have the money to find their own place, there's no doubt in my mind that her parents will force them out instantly. Finally, when it comes to my husband and I, we've both been able to get back to our lives now that I'm no longer wrapped up in that disgraceful couple's life. This year's really looking good for the both of us in terms of work again, so we're expecting another $1 million by the time the year's over. And you know what? I think that means next year we're gonna both take our daughter on a trip with some of that money. Somewhere exotic. Or maybe just Mouseland. Hello, nice to meet you. I happen to be Connor's older sister, Skylar. You must be Brianna, right? What? I'm sorry for being so sudden here. I'm sure it's a bit of a shock to be texted by your fiance's older sister like this. Hey, no worries about that. I was just a little suspicious about who this might be is all. Nice to meet you, Skylar. Thank you so much for finally getting in touch with me, and like you said, my name's Brianna. I've heard a lot about you from my little brother. You both seem to be really close to one another, and you've been working on getting the wedding on the road. I've even heard from him that you both got a reservation at the one place you were both really hoping for, right? Luckily, the place we've been wanting to have our wedding at was available on the day we asked for. The place is just so beautiful, so we didn't even hesitate in asking them to write our names in the book. So that means you guys have still not paid for the wedding or anything yet, right? That's right. We have plans later this month to go there and pay for the reservation. That'll just be for the wedding hall, though, and not the other things involved in the wedding. That'll all be paid for later on down the road, so we're not sure quite yet how much the whole wedding will cost. So that means since you haven't gone and actually paid for anything yet, it's totally fine for you to break up with Connor. What? What exactly did you mean by that? Letting me make this a bit more clear. I'd like you to break up with Connor right now. You happen to love him enough that you want him to be happy with the right person, right? So you should be more than happy to leave him for me. What? There's been a lot of talks about another woman that'll be much better for Connor. So I want him to start meeting with her right away, considering she's the better choice. Now, would you please take this time to stop talking with him for me and go find yourself someone else? Stop talking to him? Right now, Connor and I are engaged, okay? And pretty soon here, we're going to have our parents get together and meet for the first time. And we'll be paying for the wedding hall at the end of this month. So what are you talking about when you say there have been talks of Connor being with someone else? It seems that my dad found her for him. While he was talking with my mom, I listened in on their conversation from around the corner. That's so. But your parents, they were so happy to hear about Connor and I getting engaged. You understand that they were only putting on a face and looking happy, right? Deep down, all of us hate the idea of you being Connor's fiancé and would love for him to be with someone else. What do you mean? What's so wrong with me being his fiancé? I'm sure you already know this, but Connor graduated at the top of his class from university and is considered one of the best in his fields. Right now he's becoming a doctor and will soon be raking in more money than his family has ever seen before. As his older sister, he is someone that I'm very proud of, and I'd love to see him married to someone that'll make him happy. And I plan to continue making him happy as his wife. Is it really that bad for me to be the one that marries him? Huh? Are you mentally okay? You think our prodigy would be happy with some girl that was raised by only her mother in that poor household there? Tell me, how would you be able to make him happy? What? I told you, right? My brother happens to talk about you quite a lot, so we all know who you are. And that means we, of course, know how you were only raised with a mom and no dad. Your dad must have never really wanted you in his life, hey? I'm sure you never chose to be raised in that low-income household with just your mom around, right? But the fact that you were born poor pretty much means that there's no use from you, so please understand your position for us. Hold on a minute, please. Why are you calling me poor and from a low-income household? I understand that the only person who ever raised me was my mom, but I don't find it okay for you to call me things like that. What? But everyone who lives in a single-parent household is poor, right? The single parent has to take care of their kids, so they can't work that much, right? There's no way they're making enough to give you or themselves a good life, right? That's a terrible way to think about us and very biased. This is not a bias. This is all the truth I'm speaking right now. And I will not let a girl like you marry my very important brother. I'm sure you only want to be married to him for the money he'll be bringing in, right? You have that very wrong, Skylar. I would never marry Connor for his money, and we have both discussed that between one another. Don't call me Skylar like that anymore. You are not going to become anything more than a stranger to me, so either call me Ms. Skylar or nothing at all. That's enough of this now, so hurry up and leave my brother already, please. We'll be having Connor marry someone that is on the same level as him. We will not have his image being ruined by some lowlife such as yourself, so it's over between you two. I'm sorry to have to bother you at such a busy time as this. Victor, do you mind giving me just a moment of your time so that we may talk?
It's been a little while since we last talked, Miss Brianna. And what would you like to talk with me about today? Right now, the CEO happens to be at an early dinner, so perhaps there is something you'd like me to tell them.
No, this isn't something that I need to talk to my mom about. There actually happens to be something that I'd like to ask you, Victor.
You have something to ask me?
This is something private that I'd like to ask, so please don't worry about the formalities. Just call me Brianna for now. Now, the thing I'd like to ask about is in regards to Connor. Is it true that you've been trying to get him to go and see another woman?
Have Connor met with another woman? I've not been doing anything of the such. Is there any reason I'd be doing something like that in the first place? Isn't my son currently engaged to you?
Well, I'd happened to hear something about you having another woman ready to become engaged with him. Of course, I knew that something of that nature could never be the case, but just to make sure that I wanted to come and confirm that with you.
I would really like to know what strange source you heard that kind of story from. If you'd like to, you and I can meet in person to discuss all of this, and you can tell me where this is all coming from.
I don't think this requires us meeting in person to discuss, so don't worry too much about this. I just wanted to know whether that was the truth or not. Thank you for giving me some of your time while you're busy at work.
My pleasure. I'm happy that we were able to settle that little discrepancy. If you happen to need anything else from me in the future, please feel free to text me at any time. Whether it's my position of working with your mom or my position of becoming your father-in-law, I'll always be here to help.
To tell you the truth, you're very much like a father to me, Victor, and I really do mean that.
The reason for all of this kindness towards you is because someday you'll be both my daughter-in-law and my boss. I've even known about you since you entered preschool, way before you started to be with my son. So to me, I have this obligation to treat you as though you're my daughter, as that's what both myself and your mother want. Because of that, I'm very happy to see you marrying my son in the future.
There's one other thing. Connor and I were able to get ourselves a place to throw the wedding, and we'll be paying for it at the end of this month. It's a very gorgeous place where we'll be throwing the wedding, so I hope you're looking forward to it as much as I am.
I've heard about that from Connor. I think you guys will have a very beautiful and memorable wedding. As both Connor's father and your father-like figure, I'll make sure to be here for you to help in any way possible with the wedding.
Hey! Why have you gone and paid for the reservation? I told you already to break up with my brother, right? You really must be looking for trouble after ignoring my words like that. I never said that I'd be going through with something like that, and just to make sure what you were saying was a lie, I went and checked on all that myself. There was never any talks about your brother meeting with another woman. Huh? Did you really go and check with Connor himself about all that? I'm sorry, but Connor's still not aware of what's going to happen because my dad has still not spoken to him yet. But it's true that he has another far more fitting woman for him, and my parents have already been talking about the wedding plans and everything. I'm sure they were just talking about our wedding coming up. Would you stop it with that, you fatherless loser? My brother is not going to be marrying some single-parent, moneyless lowlife like you. He'll be getting married to the daughter of a CEO. There's going to be a wedding for a lowlife like yourself. What? The daughter of a CEO? That's right. The woman that my dad is ready for Connor to marry happens to be the daughter of a huge CEO who runs this massive company. When I heard my mom and dad talking about that, I was shocked to hear the good news. Saying that he was so proud that his son would be able to get married to a CEO's daughter. He looked so happy about it. Skylar, perhaps there's something about all that you're not aware of. I'm so sorry, Brianna. I no longer have the nerve to sit here listening to all your excuses now. So would you just shut up for me and break up with my brother pronto? No, this isn't an excuse or anything like that. What I want to tell you is that you must be misunderstanding something very important right now. I'm misunderstanding something? The person that you suspect your dad has gotten to meet your brother is me. Actually, there's not going to be any meeting between him and I soon, considering that happened long ago. Huh? Cut it out with that really crappy lie you're trying to tell me there. There's no way a moneyless girl from a fatherless, low-income household is the daughter of a CEO. You really want to marry Connor that bad? That you'd make up some lie like that to me? You really must need his money badly. I'm not lying right now, okay? I'm telling you the truth. Would you please just listen to everything I have to tell you right now? I understand that you want to try everything to get with the man you can leech off of for the rest of your life, but I'm not going to bother you with you any longer. No matter how hard you try, no matter how much you sacrifice, you will not be allowed to be part of my very rich and powerful family. Huh? My family has loads of money right now, and both my parents work very high-end jobs. My dad is so high up there, in fact, that he's working alongside a very well-known CEO and has been entrusted with a lot of responsibility. When it comes to my mom, she's one of the best lawyers in the city and has traveled the world a lot for different cases. And then their two children, myself and Connor, both happen to have graduated from Harvard. I totally understand why someone in your shoes would want to be part of this family, but you're just too different from the rest of us, below us in fact, so it's not happening. Are you really that worried about something like me having one or two parents around to raise me? I'm sure there are some things that happen differently in a family with only one parent, but for the most part, we all turn out the same. In my case, actually, I feel as though I was raised even better than some of those with two parents. I mean, you were raised by both your parents, but look at the way you turned out. You're far too old to be judging someone else's life like that when you don't have your own life together yet. Huh? I'm not going to be talked back to like that from a moneyless and single mother's bratty child. Just shut your mouth and leave my brother alone. You're never going to get married to my cute little brother, no matter how hard you try to. You are far too poor and have no manners like those of us who live with the elite. Now you take your little lowlife butt and disappear from my world.
The only one who's going to disappear is you.
What?
Skylar, what the hell do you think you're doing right now to this poor young woman? Not only have you been making things up and talking horribly about your brother's future marriage, but you've now been belittling a woman like Brianna.
Wait a second, what's all this about? I told you never to call me by my name like that again. Do you think I want my name in the mouth of some lowlife? Do you even know who I am?
What about you? Do you have any idea who the hell I am? Why the hell are you talking to your own father like that?
Huh? Dad? Is that you, Dad? What? This is really you, Dad? You're my dad?
Skylar, when you get back to the house tonight, we're going to your room. You're going to get one hell of an earful from me. I'll make sure you never talk to another person with a tongue like that ever again. Talking to someone as important to me as Brianna with that childish attitude of yours. I cannot let you act like that any longer.
But what are you talking about? What's going on here? What the actual frick is all this? Why are you using Brianna's phone right now to talk to me, Dad? And why are you calling her important? You have to be joking with me, right?
I call her important because she happens to be the daughter of my CEO. Is there something wrong with me doing that? Do you not think of her as being important to me? To our whole family?
Your CEO's daughter?
Brianna happens to be the daughter of the woman I'm currently working under. And she had something very important she wanted to show me today, and that's why she's all the way out of the office with me right now. I was wondering what she had to show me, and before I could ask, she was showing me all these horribly rude texts you've been sending to her. And what makes all that worse is as she was showing me the previous texts you would send her, you're currently sending her terrible messages as well. Because of you, my head hurts like hell now, and I have butterflies in my stomach because I'm so nervous about what might happen to me because of this.
You're lying, right? Wait a second. What? Is Brianna really the daughter of that CEO you're working with? But she doesn't have a father. Her mother has been raising her by herself for these years. So how the hell does she come from a person who has all that power and money?
What the hell does her having only been raised by one parent have to do with anything? Is it funny to you that her mother ended up a CEO? Or are you just trying to make up stupid excuses right now for acting like a total witch to her? Do you feel you have the right to talk about people in their positions like that?
Wait, Dad?
When you get home, I'm getting out the belt. It's been a long time since I've gotten it out, but I guess you never grew out of your early teenage years, have you? I bet that leather will help you to understand just how horrible a person you've really been. Brianna, I'm so sorry. I just got a call from my dad talking about what's all gone down. It seems my sister has really said and done some awful things to you already. I'm so sorry for not noticing that there was something going on between you two.
You don't have to apologize for any of that, Connor. I never came to you about any of it, so it's partially my fault as well.
But my dad has been yelling at me about this all as well. He wanted to know what was wrong with me for not being around you to protect you when you needed it most. He asked me if I'm even considered a man anymore after what's happened to you. I've never seen him that mad with me before.
I'm really sorry about that. I went right to your dad about all of this when I realized your sister was really confused about something. At the time, I didn't really think things would get any worse between Skylar and I, so I never thought to tell you about it. I assumed that your dad would know more about what was going on since Skylar told me that he had found you another woman for you. That's why I went and talked with him about everything to make sure that that wasn't all true.
I think you have a good point, but next time, make sure to tell me things like that as well. You're my fiancé after all, so I could have put Skylar in her place for you as well. If it's something I can't handle, then we can bring it up with my mom and dad.
That sounds good. I'm sorry for not coming to you this time.
Just to be sure, I'll go talk with my sister so she knows that nobody is on her side in this. Hopefully, that'll get her off your case and we can all be happy again. And if after that she's still causing problems, let me know and I'll get my dad to kick her out of the house. Then she won't be able to do anything to us because she'll have nothing.
All right, I'll make sure to do that. Now, good luck to you and whatever things end up happening between you and your sister. So you really are the daughter of a CEO? If that was the case, you should tell me that a lot sooner. Because of you hiding all that from me, my dad and Connor are both very angry with me, and now they're kicking me out of the house. Wow, so those two are a lot more angry with you than even I was thinking. Not only are they angry though, but they're making sure you're punished in a good way. They told me that I'm too old to be sitting in the house anymore anyway, and to leave that place and go live on my own. They said things like I need to get a job, and that I need to find myself a husband. How could they expect me to do any of that when I don't have a job? Wait, you still haven't found yourself a job yet? I was raised by only one parent, yet I made sure to get out of the house early and get myself a proper job. Shut the hell up! When you're as amazing as I am, it's hard to find a job that deserves you. If the workplace even has one idiot working in it, it's not a good enough place for me. I see. But I think it's kind of important for you to find some kind of work and then go live by yourself for a while. I've been on my own completely since I graduated from college, and doing so has taught me a lot of things I never learned there. And if anything, it taught me to be thankful for all the things my mom did for me growing up. So I recommend you try it. I'm not going to take any recommendations from you. I don't want to live on my own, ever. I like living in my parents' house where every day there's delicious food being served to me without having to put in any effort. If I'm gonna have to be kicked out of that house now, then I'm gonna make you take care of me. I'm gonna make you take responsibility for everything that's happened for me. What? So you want me to be the one that takes care of you from now on? You can at least find me a new home to live in. So either I take you in or I find you a new place to live. That's right. This is all your fault after all, and no cheap places if you chose a new home for me. No apartments under $2,500 a month. Honestly, I need to be living in a high-rise apartment, if you go that route, above the 15th floor. Don't you dare start complaining about all of this. I hate the idea of this, but it seems like you're gonna marry my brother. So, in other words, that makes me your sister-in-law. And that means you cannot talk back or complain to me about anything I ask for. The only thing you're allowed to do is listen to me and then do it. I'm glad to hear you're not whining about me marrying Connor anymore, but it seems you still have not stopped causing me trouble here. And even though you're the daughter of a CEO, that does not give you permission to act like you're better than me. I don't care that you will get a company someday. I'm your older sister-in-law, and that makes me considered even more like royalty than you. If you understand what I'm asking, then you get me that high-rise apartment right now. And of course you're going to be paying the rent for me every month.
That's enough, Skylar. Even after all that yelling you received yesterday, you still have not been cured of that toxic tongue.
What?
It's over for you now, Skylar. I've been sitting right next to Brianna this whole time, watching every text you've been sending her. I'm a very sad little brother now. Today is the day I lose my older sister. But I suppose that's going to be fine in the long run, considering the older sister I knew never talked to other people, especially those important to me, like that.
Wait a second. Are you Connor?
And what if I am? Are you going to start panicking, making up sorry reasons for why you act like such a witch?
No.
You've really gone and done it this time, acting like a monster to Brianna again after being chewed out by both Dad and myself yesterday. Unfortunately for you, I never want to see your face ever again. And when it comes to my wedding coming up here soon, you're no longer invited to it. I don't want a freaking monster like you ruining all the fun for everyone else.
What? Why are you telling me I can't come to the wedding now? What you just saw it wasn't what you thought. I really am shocked right now after having been told I'm gonna get kicked out of the house. I'm really worried and saddened by that. I'm sorry, Skylar. Right now, Connor no longer wants to talk to you, and I'm not sure you'll ever hear from him again. He's actually gone and left the house to go and get some takeout for us because he needs to cool down. Something about how he just told you to not start making excuses and sad reasons for being such a witch and all that. Yet you did not listen to him. What? Sucks that you're not invited to the wedding anymore, but that was bound to happen when you chose not to learn your lesson. We both agree now that we don't want you there, so that's pretty much it for you. I'm sorry, but we'll be telling the security detail that you'll now be on the blacklist. You freaking cunt! You hadn't started to show this conversation to my little brother like that without my permission? You've now gone and made both my dad and my brother hate me. That's all part of your plan, isn't it, you little cunt? I'm not sure how I was supposed to be aware that you'd text me at this exact point in time today. To be honest, I thought you'd never talk to me again after the punishments you got. I didn't even want to talk with you today, to be fair. Shut the hell up, you cunt! My dad and Connor are a part of my family. Yet you keep abusing your spot as the daughter of that CEO to make them bend to your will. You're a cunt! Cunt, 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 cunt! I'm not so sure about that. I'd really like you to stop believing in whatever reality you live inside your head. Huh? What the hell are you talking about? You're using your power to make everyone side with you on this. I know that for a fact. Neither my dad or Connor have ever been that mad at me before. Even if I wasn't the daughter of a CEO, I'm sure those two would side with me on what's happened. The reason they're on my side happens to be because 1, I am not insane, 2, I'm not a witch, and 3, I'm not going off the deep end. Huh? You're calling me insane? I'm not insane, you are! Are you trying to tell me that I don't understand any of what's going on right now? Yes. You've been saying completely false things about your family to break up a marriage, and have been asking your brother's fiancé to leave him. You've also started calling me poor and a lowlife even though you don't know me. The list goes on, but I don't have the time to tell you it all right now. Just know that everything you've been doing makes you look like a mentally insane monster. Or in simple terms, a brainless jerk. Excuse me? Even if they are all your family, they happen to be too high class to side with something like you. If anything, we've all started to doubt that you're actually related to the family by blood. That's how amazing and high class your family is compared to you. You're freaking dead! You think you can just tear me apart like that because you're the CEO's daughter? I'm supposed to become your older sister-in-law soon, and this is how you treat me? I'm above you in every way, and you don't realize that still? Since you won't be at the wedding anymore, I think this is where I say goodbye to you forever. Understand that you'll become my sister-in-law here soon, but nobody will acknowledge that considering you're going to be disowned by your parents. What? So I'm being disowned now? What? So you're all just going to cut ties with me now? It's a little bit dangerous to continue being in contact with someone in your states. We all agreed it's better that you stay away from all of us. Now that was it from me, so please never ever come around your family or I ever again. If you do still try and come around any of us, I'll make sure that my mom's security comes and removes you from our surroundings and calls the police on you. On that day, Skylar was officially kicked out of the family and was kicked out with whatever she could carry on her person. Of course, I never got her a new place to live or anything like that, so she ended up going to multiple different friends' places. However, the relations with her friends didn't last long because she would complain about their cooking and how small their places were and that they weren't clean. Soon, she ran out of friends to go and stay with and had to turn around to borrowing money. But of course, she can't borrow much considering she doesn't have a job or anything, so she's left having to find a place to live, either under the bridge or on the bus stop bench. Both her dad, Victor, and her brother, Connor, know that she's living on the streets now, but they don't mind at all since she's no longer in the family. If anything, they're happy to see her this way, since it seems that she might start to looking for work here soon to try and stay alive.
Gina, are you there? I just have to know if this is true. I heard that your ex-husband is the company president of Grapeco? Like, the one that's on all the magazine covers and stuff? His name is George, isn't it? Excuse me? Why in the world are you talking to me about this, Trish? Well, it's just Ben was letting me look through some old family photos that you had in the house. There was an old photo with you standing next to a man, and I finally recognized who he is. It was so weird because the pictures were old, but I felt like I had seen that man from somewhere. And now I finally realized that he's George Grape, the head of Grapeco. Wow, well, I have to say I'm impressed you could tell from such an old photo. Is that all you have to say about it? That's a little underwhelming, to be honest. Well, I'm afraid there's really not much to get all that excited about. I mean, he wasn't a company president or CEO or whatever when we were going out. I didn't hear that he'd started his own company until after he and I had broken up, but I guess now he's some kind of hot shot in the industry. But why didn't you ever try to fix things with him after you heard about who he was? Think about the life you could have had if you did. You could be posting on Insta every day from a new car or showing off your huge house. Just think about it. You should text him right now and ask him out. I'm sorry, Trish, but I really have no interest at all in getting back together with George. In fact, I don't even know if marrying him would mean getting more money. I remember when we were married, he would always blow through our monthly budgets like it was nothing. He even stole Ben's allowance at times. And in the end, he finally cheated on me and ran off to be with another woman. So I hope you understand why I have no intention of getting back together with him. Whoa, what? You mean you just forgave him for all that he did and just let him go like that? And now he's a huge deal all over the world? I mean, who cares about what happened in the past if you can milk George for all that he's worth now? You deserve to have nice things, too. Just think of the cars, the mansions, the condos, the vacations. All of it could be yours. Maybe it could, maybe it couldn't, but it really doesn't bother me either way. After all, I don't even want those things. I enjoy my apartment and I enjoy my simple life. It's enough for me. Oh, come on, Gina. You have to be more ambitious than that. What's the point of being satisfied with what you have? You're almost 30 years old and you're still working a dead-end job living in your small apartment. Don't you want more out of life? Aren't you sick of living the way that you are? Just think of where you could be living if you only swallowed your pride and asked George to take you back. It's the least you deserve. You really think that there's something wrong with the way that I live? I just finished telling you how comfortable I was. I'm sorry if that was rude of me to say, but I just wanted to be honest with you and share my thoughts about what you could be doing. Maybe it's because I'm from the country and I'm used to having a wider space to live in. To be honest, it's been difficult for me to adjust living in this cramped city. I mean, I feel like a dog in a cage some days that I'm here, and I was just shocked the first time that I came over to your house. Oh, that's right. I forgot that you had moved here from Wisconsin. Was your house really that much bigger? I feel like I could probably fit at least 7 of your apartments in the old house that I grew up in back out there. But to see the house that Ben would have grown up in with you, well, it just kind of really bummed me out. That's why you have to get back together with George. Then there wouldn't be any need for you to live in this tiny apartment anymore. It's not like there aren't big places in the city. You just need more money to get there. Well, while I appreciate your suggestion, Trish, I really just have no intention at all of getting back together with George. It was one of the happiest days of my life when he and I were divorced. Besides, he cheated on me and left me to be with another woman. Why in the world would I want to get with someone who treated me so poorly in the past? Oh my gosh, Gina, I really can't believe how much you are missing the forest for the trees here. I mean, if you're not going to do this for yourself, then can you think of Ben and I at least? Think of all the ways that we could all use George's money. Are you really going to let your pride get in the way of your son's future prosperity? And just what is that supposed to mean? I mean that if you get back together with George, then Ben might have a chance of taking over Grape Co. when George steps down. And if he does that, then that means that I'll be the wife of a CEO and never ever have to work another day in my life. So please don't let your pride ruin the chances for me to have the dream life that I've always wanted to have. You really want to live in some fancy condo that badly, Trish? Well, it's not just that. I mean, think of what will happen at our wedding. So many rich people would be invited because of George, and we'd make out like bandits with cash gifts. Trish, I really don't think that you're thinking about this realistically. I mean, do you not think you're taking this fantasy just a little too far? Fantasy? The only one living in a fantasy is you if you really think that it's okay to live the way that you're living. This is your chance to escape from it all. I mean, how can you be blind to the sad life that you're living right now? I just can't understand why you think this is okay. Trish, I'm not saying that I don't see the points you're making. Yes, my apartment is rather small, and yes, I don't make all that much money. But the point is that it's my life, and I'm very comfortable where I am, so please stop trying to pressure me to change that.
Mom, are you there? It's just horrible. I can't believe it. Why didn't you ever tell me that my real dad was the CEO of a huge company?
I take it that Trish had something to do with this, didn't she?
Well, of course she did. She was the one who told me the whole truth about who my dad really is. I can't believe that I'm actually the son of Grape Co.'s own George Grape. And how could you hide this from me, Mom? What's the matter with you? I have a right to know this.
Ben, you've known who your father is this whole time, and I've told you that you don't want anything to do with that man. I know that he looks impressive on social media and all of that, but you don't know George like I do. I mean, when he left us behind, did you know that he even found a way to get out of paying child support?
I seriously can't believe that you're making excuses for yourself like this, Mom. What are you talking about? My dad gave me child support money all of the time. Or at least he tried to. But you were the one who always told him to take his money and never come back. But I know for a fact that my real dad never once forgot about me or chose to abandon me. And you have no idea how much pain it's caused me not being able to see him.
Don't tell me that you've actually found a way to reconnect with him.
I have, actually. In fact, Dad and I were just together earlier today, if you must know. It had been 20 years since you two divorced. I hadn't seen him since I was in elementary school. I can't even remember the last time I cried like that, but I did when I saw him today.
Ben, what is the matter with you? Why would you go and meet someone like that? He left us and never gave us a cent of child support, and he never once reached out to contact you.
You're not reading my messages, Mom. He did offer me money and has asked to meet me countless times, but that I never took him up on his offer was secretly crushing me this whole time. That's why I was so happy to finally get to meet him. He even gave me $20,000 as back pay.
What? Did he really give you that much money?
That's right. What else could you expect from someone as impressive as him? I mean, for him, $20,000 was probably like a penny or something. But I never ever had that much money in my life before. I didn't even know what to say to him.
Well, you should tell him to take his money back. I am serious. You don't want anything to do with that man. And you probably don't even want to know what he had to do for that money. I know that he seems great right now, but I am telling you that he is nothing but trouble.
You really think that I'm gonna give the money back? It's my money. He said it was all the child support he would have paid me. And now you're trying to tell me that I'm not entitled to that. You're just jealous, aren't you? You're mad because I got the money and you didn't.
Ben, you can't be serious about this. You don't actually think that's why I'm upset about this, do you? I am your mother, and I am only saying this to you for your own good.
How is any of this for my own good? You're just saying whatever you can to make yourself seem good so you can try and brainwash me.
You don't actually think that's what I'm doing, right, Ben?
Of course it is. Ever since I was little, you've only ever talked bad about my dad. You called him a cheater and a cheapskate, and that's all I ever knew about him. But now that I finally met him and listened to his side of the story, I know that the divorce was actually all your fault. Dad never did anything wrong.
Oh, come on. You really are just going to believe that it's all my fault your father and I got divorced?
Of course. He told me all about how you never ever supported him and how that pushed him to cheat on you.
And you're really buying that story?
Dad told me it was always his dream to own his own company, but that you were always shooting his ideas down and telling him to give up on his dreams and get a real job. You made Dad feel cornered and alone, so it's only natural that he would resort to cheating on you the way that he did. And yet you still had the gall to play victim. That's why Dad finally realized that it was hopeless trying to fix things with you and ran off.
I can't believe that you're really buying all of this. I thought you were smarter than this, Ben.
All you had to do was be a good wife and help Dad chase his goals. But instead you chose to run him off, and that's why you have the life you have now. This is what you get for not being there for Dad when you should have been.
Is this all what George told you? Ben, you cannot believe a single word that man says to you. I gave birth to you. I raised you on my own for 20 years, and you really think that I've been doing it all to hide the truth about your father from you?
You really want to try and play the mom card now. You're nothing but a poor old lady. It's all your fault that I grew up in a broken home with no father. You should have been there for him, but instead you got mad over an affair you forced him into. I could have been next in the line to take over his company.
And just what is wrong with the life I gave you growing up? I never remember you complaining about anything when you were a child. I was always there for you, always did my best to provide for you, and never ever had to send you to bed without making sure you'd eaten that day. I may only work part-time, but over my time working, I strived for any chance at career advancements and raises that I could get. I was even earning as much as a regular employee at my company for a while.
Oh, just shut up already. I'm sick and tired of you trying to spin the truth for me. I don't care how hard you say you worked. You still lied to me, and you stole my chance at a good life. I could have been driving fast cars, traveling the world, making tons of money, and instead we had to live together in your tiny little apartment.
I did all that I could for you. Why are you acting this way?
You read this message well, Mom. You're nothing but a poor old lady pretending to be someone she's not. I wish I'd grown up with Dad instead of you. I'm never, ever going to come back to your tiny little apartment ever again.
Ben, please, you are acting absurd. I mean, you're really going to abandon your mother to be with your father who was never there for you?
That's right. I'm going to be with him, and he's going to take me in and give me a job, and then I'll be living in a huge condo. I'll be able to give Trish everything she wants, and we'll go and live with Dad in his penthouse. We'll eat out every night and never have to worry about how the poor live ever again.
Well, fine then. You're an adult and you're free to choose how you want to live. If that's what you want, then I won't stop you. But please, never say that you'll never come back home. I'll always be here for you, Ben.
No, I don't need to ever go back, and I won't. And I don't need you either. You're no mother of mine, so don't even bother showing up to my wedding.
Ben, please, you can't be serious about this, right?
Oh, I am. Now have a nice life, Mom. I never want to see you again.
Good morning, Gina. I'm sure that you know today is the day that Ben and I are going to get married. Yes, I am aware of that. Can I ask just why you're messaging me about it? Well, it's just that Ben wanted me to remind you that you aren't welcome at our wedding. I know that he told you already, but he wanted me to as well, so we could really drive it home. Just so you know that we aren't joking, and you better not be there. So you mean that you're really okay with this too? You don't care at all that your mother-in-law is banned from your own wedding? Of course I'm fine with it. I have no issue with that at all. In fact, I never wanted you here in the first place. Do you have any idea how embarrassing it is to think about just how poor my mother-in-law is? And so you two are still so convinced about how poor I am, huh? And you're still trying to convince yourself that you're not? Just seeing the state of your house, it was too obvious. But I'm not going to hang around and let my marriage be weighed down by a poor old woman like you. All my friends have great relationships with their mothers-in-law. Some of them even give my friends money as an allowance, and they told them they'd never ever need any nursing or help when they're older. But you, it's obvious that when you're older, you're going to be demanding money from Ben and I, so it's obviously better to get rid of you now. I see. Well, I guess I wasn't aware that you felt so strongly on the matter. It's really not even a choice when you think about it. A poor old mother-in-law or a rich and successful father-in-law. George is going to be our ticket to the top. He's going to let Ben take over his company, and then we'll be living in the lap of luxury for the rest of our lives. I can't believe that Ben is really choosing to live as George's son rather than my own. Are you really? I'm not. I'd make the same choice if I were him. Well, fine then. I'll skip going to your wedding, but I'm not sure you won't regret it. And just why in the world would we do that, huh? I'm done having this conversation with you. You both are adults, and if this is how you want to live your lives, then fine. You think it's not obvious how upset you are over this? Maybe if you showed up to the wedding crying and begging us to let you in, we might change our minds. Oh, I'm afraid I won't be the one crying by the end of this, but you just might be. You're not making any sense at all. What could possibly make me regret marrying Ben when he's going to be rich? You're just a jealous old woman trying to hold on to what's around her as it slips around your fingers. Have a nice lonely life, you old hag. Oh no, what's going on? I am so upset. You have to do something to save this wedding, Gina. Oh no, what's the matter? Don't tell me that things aren't going the way that you planned. What? How did you know? Who told you? Don't tell me it's already on the TV. Apparently George's company is actually on the verge of bankruptcy. Not only that, but he's being sued for fraud since apparently he tried to scam people. Yeah, I did hear about it on the TV, actually. I heard that George is being accused of swindling people out of $60 million. It was also some kind of big investment scam or something like that, yes? But instead, he took all of the money invested and left nothing to show for it to the investors. That's not all, though. George told Ben that he was going to let him take over the company. But now that Ben is all wrapped up in this, we have a bunch of reporters outside our house. They've been there since this morning. Oh, wow. Well, that's really rough for you, isn't it? But that's not the worst of it. The worst is that George managed to escape from the apartment. We have no idea where he is, and he's not picking up our calls. So now we're being accused as conspirators of George. Wow. Well, it sounds to me like you two played right into his hand then, didn't you? But at least you got that $20,000 that George gave to Ben, right? I just hope it doesn't come out that that money was dirty as well. No. You don't think that George was trying to set us up all along, do you? Please, you have to do something to save us. I thought we had finally made it, and then right after our wedding, the news broke. And you two really weren't suspicious of anything at all? You thought you were being handed all this on a silver platter? You should have warned us about George. You should have told us not to trust him. How many times did I tell you why George and I didn't work out? I told you that he lied to and cheated and stole from Ben and I and then ran away with another woman. I told Ben not to take George's money and not to listen to a single thing that liar had to tell him. But you two were so happy at the prospect of a little money and were so quick to blame me for all of your troubles. You two wanted it this way, and now you have to live with it. But don't you dare say that I didn't do enough to warn you. So, good luck. Sounds like you both are going to need it. Good luck? Is that really all you have to say to us? You're really not going to do anything to help us at all? Can't you at least come here and pick us up so that we can escape the sea of reporters outside of George's house? I'm sorry, but you both made it very clear that you wanted nothing to do with me ever again. And now you're asking a poor old woman like me to help you out? Please, you have to realize that the circumstances were different. I didn't realize what we were getting into. Yes, that much is obvious. But since you've made it clear that you don't want me to be a part of your family, I don't see why I should help either of you. I did my best to warn you, did my best to be honest with you about my intentions, and all I got back for it was insulting words and a betrayal by my own son. You tell Ben that he'll always be my boy, but that he is going to have to work his own way out of this. And maybe someday, when he's thought long and hard about what he's done, I'll be ready to speak to him again. Please, you can't just leave us like this. Don't you get that we're in way over our heads? How can you say that you love your son if you're not going to come and help us right now? How can you just leave us like this? Please, Gina, we're supposed to be family. You can't do this. You need to come here and save us. It was a couple days later that I saw on the news that George had finally been caught and arrested for all his crimes. He had run back to his hometown and was hiding in his childhood home when the police found him. Apparently, the person who had given him up was actually the very woman that George cheated on me with. She had also gotten caught up in his schemes and wasn't about to go down alone. George and Trish continued to beg me for help, but as George's trial continued, it came out that the two of them really did have nothing to do with what happened. The two of them, however, came under intense criticism online as it was revealed in the trial that they abandoned me because they thought George was wealthy. And before long, just about everyone knew who Ben and Trish were and what they had done. With no home to go back to and no dream job as a CEO, the two of them decided to pack up what they had and flee town. I haven't heard from Ben since then, but I know that when he's ready, he'll find me.